All right, as I'm reading this docket 28 file, it's 91 pages. On page 42 is a section titled Letters of Support, and I think this probably warrants a video all by itself. Let's just get started. A large number of family and friends and acquaintances have written letters of support describing the Schaeffer Cox that they have come to know over a period of many years. To a person, none of the writers believed that Schaeffer Cox was capable of actually engaging in the kinds of violent acts that he was heard to speak of. Those who knew Schaeffer Cox discounted his increasingly bizarre rhetoric and did not recognize the underlying mental illness. Some who see themselves as his supporters were actually further encouraging his paranoia. The writers of these letters include a retired professor emeritus of accounting, a Fairbanks firefighter, and a police officer, a Fairbanks paramedic, a youth pastor, an adult pastor, former and current soldiers, business owners, senior vice president of a local bank, licensed home builders, fellow church parishioners, customers of Mr. Cox Construction, and landscaping businesses, and others. While the government will be quick to point out that these writers did not see the side of Schaeffer Cox that was captured on the undercover recording, those folks did see Mr. Cox in a wide variety of contexts over many years. They saw him work socially and with his family. They saw how he treated other people. They came to know him quite well. A few notable examples include Levi Roth, who has known Schaeffer Cox for 29 years, writes, "There was once a time in my life when I was homeless and had almost nothing. Schaeffer let me stay in his house and provided me with food and gave me time to find a good place to live. After all he did for me, he asked for nothing in return because he believed it was the right thing to do. He has not only done these types of things for me, but many others as well." Joseph Nichols, who has known Schaeffer Cox for 12 years, writes, "I have to say that when it comes to a character of a man, I have a hard time finding people who are as hardworking, reliable, and trustworthy as Schaeffer Cox. He is a disciplined, caring, empathetic to others. He has always loved his wife and family. He has run more than one small business and owned a home, all at a surprisingly young age." Charles Deere. Shortly after Schaeffer got married, he started his own construction business. He would frequently ask me for advice. Again, I was struck with how capable and astute he was in the principles of management and fiscal constraints. Myra Neff, who met Schaeffer Cox when he was 16 years old. "Through the years, I observed Schaeffer's worthy community contributions and personal achievements. He taught an ESL class. He led the college and career group at church. He summited Mount McKinley 3 times. He ran for political office. He was active in his political party. He bought his own home. He became a business owner. He was financially astute. He bought a commercial fishing boat. He was a responsible, loving husband and father." All this before the age of 26. Diane Shoming, who met Schaeffer Cox in 2000. "The most pronounced thing I observed about Schaeffer was his willingness to help my extended family when my nephew was in rebellion against his parents. Schaeffer and his wife took my nephew into their home and assumed full custody for him without any expectation of reward for doing so. Schaeffer exceeded our expectations in his guardianship of my nephew." Barbara Roberts, whose husband is a TSA employee. "My husband Larry Roberts has worked for the TSA for the last 10 years and continues to work there presently. I have heard many conversations between my husband and Schaeffer regarding TSA and have never felt threatened whatsoever from Schaeffer. As I said before, Schaeffer expresses his opinions openly. He enjoys debating with others." Pabel Koss, who first met Schaeffer Cox when he hired him to do a home repair. "I met Schaeffer sometime in 2006 when somebody referred him to me as someone who conducted home repairs. I hired Schaeffer to fix a leak in our bathroom. It took Schaeffer about 3 hours to get the repair done, and even though I insisted, Schaeffer would only charge us $100 for the job. Part of the reason the job took a long time is that Schaeffer needed a special tool which he did not have when he first arrived at the house, and he had to make a second trip. Other contractors would have used this opportunity to make excuses and take advantage of me and charge me a lot more than $100. Schaeffer decided that honesty and customer satisfaction were more important than making money." Joshua Browning, who has known Schaeffer Cox for 10 years. "Schaeffer is a smart and hard-working man. I'm sure he could have done just about anything he wanted in life. Schaeffer is a very passionate person, and sometimes he can be misunderstood. Yes, he can be loud and in your face at times, but this is just the way he is. Melissa Browning. My husband and I even went to help him, Schaeffer, on a job one day for an elderly woman who had hired him to replace all the windows in her house on a day when the temperatures were hovering around 0 degrees Fahrenheit. The elderly woman, while sweet, was very particular. I just remember being impressed at how patient and compassionate Schaeffer was with her and how he answered all her questions and without showing any kind of frustration. He also did a great job replacing each window quickly so the poor old lady wouldn't have to lose more heat from her house than necessary. Timothy Burns. When our youth pastor was unable to attend a planned youth revival in Anchorage due to a deployment by the Army, Schaeffer and his wife Marty agreed to step up and worked with the teenagers the entire week. We were on that trip. My daughter and son were part of the 40 youths who traveled with us to Anchorage while I drove the church bus. Schaeffer was very devoted to helping the kids develop throughout the entire trip. And I've never had a more well-organized and enjoyable road trip than that one. Janine Smith. I co-chaperoned a youth trip with Schaeffer and his wife along with some other adults. During the trip, some of the youth boys were playing hard in the facility where they were staying and ran into a wall, causing some minor damage. Even though it took quite a bit of time away from the other activities, Schaeffer took it upon himself to diligently and skillfully lead the boys to repair the damage to the wall. He took responsibility even though he didn't cause the damage, and he followed through, leading the boys with the work until it was complete. You know, how many of us, even at an old age, I'm near 50 years old, I don't know that I could come up with letters like that. I mean, can you imagine? He was like 26, 24 so when he got thrown in prison. I don't remember the exact age, but he was in his mid-20s. And look at all this letters of support that he had. The government absolutely targeted him because they knew he was going to take America by storm with his political ideas, and they set him up with government informants. The government informants had to dog him for over 2 years before they even had anything that amounted to a case, and only because the prosecutors played dirty and withheld exculpatory evidence, and they brought a judge out of retirement, only then could they even be successful in getting a guilty verdict. But that doesn't mean that the truth won't come out, because justice is coming.